Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the November 14th Al-Anon readings in Courage to Change and a Little Time for Myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Begin with a little time for myself. I will take a moment to look over the reading. The question of the day is, how well do I recognize my limitations today? And it mentions step 11, which is sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. So it's really interesting because it's not that interesting, but in the wording of step 11, the pronoun used is him. And in this reading, the person who wrote this reading, the pronoun this person used for the higher power is her. So that just goes to show that the pronoun really doesn't matter. But I think this is the first reader that's used the pronoun, the female pronoun. Just interesting to note. This reading is about doing our higher power's will, not trying to do too much. So it's talking about relaxing, quiet time, seeking balance in our lives from things that we have to do, things that are fun to do, things that we need to do to have serenity and taking care of ourselves. And that when we seek our higher power's will for us and the power to carry that out, we are seeking balance. So the question, how well do I recognize my limitations today? I think that this time of year especially, as the weather gets colder and as the days become shorter, it is my natural tendency to hibernate a little bit, much like many of the animals who nest and get cozy. And so I feel very grateful to be in a time in my life where I can slow down, I can rest when I need to rest, and I can stay in bed if I want, I can go to bed early if I want. Part of my daily prayers are asking for my higher power's guidance. And I do try to follow that through. And throughout my day, I try to listen and pay attention to those nudges that I get that I think are my higher power. And I also look for my higher power speaking through other people and uh, showing itself in, coincidences that seem just so serendipitous that it feels like it's got to be my higher power. And I definitely am aware of many of my limitations. I think it's a constant practice for me to realize how little control I really have and to focus on the things that I do have control over. And that's why it's progress, not perfection. Always for me, always progress, not perfection. So, how about you? How well do you recognize your limitations today? Moving on, I'll take a moment to look this over. This reading is about a couple of different things. There are a couple of slogans, and it mentions step 6. Step 6 is we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. The passage talks about it not being like a flash of light, but being subtle changes over time. How gratitude is very helpful in the process of changing and growing. It mentions progress, not perfection, and one day at a time. Mentions those two slogans. And it mentions that step 6 is getting ourselves ready to let our higher power uh, do the work. We have to be accepting of the work and open to the work, but our higher power helps us with it. Excuse me. We'll close out with the serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.